how should people approach a situation where they're quite certain that a student or someone they know could be autistic, but the parents, or loved ones kind of dismiss it? Is it appropriate to suggest it directly to the person, or what should happen?
My experience, and again, it's like I always give caveats because it depends on the person, it depends on the relationship, it depends on so many things. But I think a good first approach is maybe not to use, not that there's anything inherently shameful about using the word autism, but a lot of people have a misunderstanding of that. So can you come at it from a different place, like sensory overwhelm, social anxiety, repetitive behaviors? If you can use any of that language first, and you can kind of gauge if the person is open to hearing more about that, you can kind of gauge where they're at based on using that kind of terminology before you suggest autism. But it can be helpful to kind of put a feeler out and see where that other person is coming from, if that makes sense.
I would say, based on personal experience from my daughter working in a preschool, that there are cultural differences in regard to mental health issues. And not that autism is a mental health issue, but that's how they perceive it. But I also have experience on how my son was diagnosed, which was his teacher telling us that she saw signs of autism in him. And she did not downplay it. And she didn't use any like sensory issues, terms, or anything like that. She just straight out told us autism. And my husband and I were both offended at first because we knew nothing about it. So I think that if you are just direct, people can accept it or reject it. I don't know that, and kind of like Orion was saying earlier, that we are all different minds with different opinions. I think culturally, maybe that slow stepping would help some people. You would have to have a really good intuition to figure out who that would be. But I know that for my son, his teacher just straight out told us, have you ever had evaluated for autism? And that started the whole journey. And we were offended at first, and then we looked into it and understood a lot more about it. And the rest, as they say, is history.
I mean, I think I've spoken about it on my channel before. It is a tricky situation. I don't think you should call somebody out on it personally. Sometimes if I get to know somebody, I'll forget sometimes, and I'll just make an off the cuff comment, and they'll be like, "Excuse me? Don't do that." I think the best thing is to bring it up with somebody if you have a good friendship. I would bring it up privately. I would bring some information with you. Maybe, hey, have you seen some of these videos? They kind of reminded me of you. Is this something you've ever thought about before? Because I know that for me, I had no earthly idea that, which now seems so weird because, I mean, check the boxes, right? But I had no earthly idea that I was on the autism spectrum. I thought that this is how everybody, I mean, I knew that not everyone was like me, but I thought that, this must be how other people experience life. Even if you can or you suspect that somebody is on the spectrum, I don't think it's helpful most of the time to just, hey, just met you, thought you should know, bye. I don't think that's usually helpful. So,
like a Call Me Maybe type song.